And if your psychology is in pass the buck mode,
Yeah.
like if that's where you're at as a person, no matter what circumstances I throw you into, that's where you'll be. You'll
Yeah.
be passing the buck to someone somewhere for whatever fucking shit you bring on yourself. Probably, right? And it's the other thing where when you talk this way, somebody comes along and goes every fucking time. Well, there are people are actually getting treated like shit, and yeah, it does happen. There are examples, but it can't be fucking happening to the degree people are saying it is. Does it? Excuse me. Doesn't make any sense that it would be happening to the extent that you say it is. Right? Again, you just go to motive. Why in the fuck, as a society, would we want less women succeeding?
Yeah.
Period. Why would any society want intentionally women to be less successful than men? It doesn't even add up, right? You want society to be benefited by all of its fucking members. You want productive members all around. Like if everyone was fucking working their ass off and getting into college and passing their classes and getting diplomas and getting jobs that are fucking valuable to society as a whole, and everyone was doing that, well, fuck me, I think we'd all be a lot happier. But it just doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. But again, I think it's more of the I don't have to blame me for my shit. And if you do a little digging into some of these people, you'll probably find out they fucked up something somewhere along the line, and they're just making themselves feel better. Which again, like I've said, I'd rather be right and fucking have everybody hate my guts. I'm just fucking fine where that is, where that lands. And that's not to say I'm never wrong. I'm wrong like once every 32 years. I will be 33 next month. So, yeah. That's just on that. I'm just guessing there. I can't remember ever being wrong. I'm just, I'm going to say that maybe I was once. So fuck you. Yeah. Whoever. Yeah. I hope you fail at everything.
And
Shit.
they'll say, well, what if we want to do co-op? I've never seen someone who, like a hacker who got invaded, who was doing co-op with a friend. They're always by themselves, and they just flip
Right.
on it. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what is that thing though? That let's defend the shitty aspect of the game. Like just like find a way to deal with the shitty thing. That is so fucking common,
Yeah.
right? Don't change it. Just find a way to live with it. Right? Find a way to fucking cope. It's really weird.
Yeah, and they really flaunt it. You'll go to these leaderboards in the game, and you'll see people who have turned in, like, you know, it's like someone who's like got 99 stats in all slots, even though they're only level 1, and it's just stupid. They make no attempt to be subtle about it at all. They're
Well,
just.
well, what I love most about
Although
online.
I'm sorry, to their credit, they do have the respect to say, hold still while I piss on all of your legs.
Yeah,
We
no
finally
shit.
found those people.
Yeah,
After all of our searching.
yeah, fuck. But what I love about the like legitimate online gaming, where there are actual winners and losers, is the reaction to winning and losing is so fucking different.
Yeah.
But it kind of speaks to the sort of shit we were talking about before in this sense. If you kick the shit out of a guy, like you enter into an online contest, whatever the fuck it is, one guy's talking all kinds of shit about how good he is and about how he's going to kick your ass. You kick his ass, and now you're a fag and you have no life, right? Like you spend
Yeah.
all your time playing this game, and it's this weird thing. Like so, a minute ago, you had no life and
Yeah.
you sucked, but what happened there, right?
Yeah.
And that's like where that conversation is. It's where it goes. It's just the worst shit. Like you could find some really horrible shit. Like so, no matter what you do, you're gonna be patting yourself on the back,
Yeah.
right? If you lose, it's because you've got better things to do,
Yeah.
and if you win, it's because you're awesome because you don't,
Yeah.
right? So like I mean,
Yeah,
it's
you pushed a
interesting.
button in time better than someone
Yeah,
else.
yeah, it's weird.
You're
It's a
clearly a
weird.
remarkable person.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah, I mean, I hate losing at games. See, this in World of Warcraft, which is like most of the multiplayer experience by just number of hours I have is in World of Warcraft, right?
Sure.
And I hated losing. I hated dueling. And the thing is, these assholes would always duel people when they saw that you had no PvP gear.
Right.
And then there was this one fucking asshole who, like, he thought we were friends, but really he just kind of got on my nerves. He would be at the level cap, and I'd be like 10 levels down. And that makes a huge difference, right? Not the level itself, but the kind of gear that you can equip, right? And he'd just constantly spam challenge me to duels. And I'm like, fuck off.
Right.
Does that make you feel like a big man?
Right. Yeah, I don't know what that is either. Like, shit.
Yeah, and so anyway, this guy, he must have had, like, if his dick was even an inch long, I'd be amazed. It had to have been like a half, maybe 3/4 at full erection. Because, okay, he's at level 80, right? And he has he's using a Shadow Priest, which is a notoriously effective dueling class, right?
Right.
Notorious for very difficult, constantly making you. They can damage you while you have that fear effect. I mean, you've played games with that, fear where you just run and run away and lose. So they're a range class, and so when they cast the fear on you, most of those crowd controls break when you're damaged. This one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow Priest fear makes you run away, and they just have this laser that zaps you, and they have various other abilities. So they're a notorious 1-versus-1 dueling class, right?
Right.
So he has that, and this is back when the level cap was 80, right? And he's got all this fly gear, and I'm like at level 70, right?
Mm-hmm.
One time he challenges me, and usually I just either don't accept, or I accept and I just stand there and let him beat me up, just try to take the fun out of it for him, right?
Uh-huh.
So he's not really expecting, so he challenges me, and I accept, and I just hit him with everything I got, and I kick the shit out of him. And it was fucking amazing. It was a fucking statistical impossibility, but he just was careless.
Right.
Right? He just thought he barely was like playing with one hand or something. So I just hit him with everything, and I kicked his ass. Yeah. And I said, well, that's that. And he's like, rematch! Fucking rematch right now!
Yeah, you gotta love that shit.
And and my reaction was stupid, because I actually did fight him again. If I was smart, I would have just said, no, just come back when you're better, or something like that. But stupidly, I let him fight me again. Of course, he won. And I said, well, that time it wasn't really much, because all my cooldowns were already spent, because I was a rogue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, okay, fine, let's do it again just as soon as all your cooldowns are done. I thought, dude, you won. Chill the fuck out. He's like, no, and he's like following me around. He's like, are your cooldowns yet? Are you ready? Let's do it again.
God damn, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's fucking, dude. Yeah. That's like, how shitty is your self-esteem? Like, I mean, what the fuck do you want me to do for you, man?
And then, so I say, okay, fine. So I fight him again. He rather predictably wins. And he had actually, even though, again, he's at the level cap, I saw he had changed his PvP gear, right?
Right.
So he's like ready. He's fucking ready. And he's like, yeah, it'll be a long time before you can beat me. And he leaves this little smiley emote. I thought, you fucking piece of shit.
Oh, fuck. You see, I used to do a lot of PvP on Lord of the Rings Online, which is, when I started my first character there, it was a burglar class, and everybody in the guild I joined said, oh, well, they're the worst fucking class for PvP. They are the worst class. You're never going to win PvP. You're just never going to win. So I just sort of accepted that, being a new player, right? I was like, well, they're probably right, and everybody's probably saying this for a reason. And on I go, and I reach level cap, and I've got this amazing fucking character built up, and just really well made, stat-wise, and all of that shit. And one night, guild leader goes, all right, let's all meet at the clan house, and we're going to have just a little PvP night. We're all just going to hang out and kick the shit out of each other. I was like, oh, cool, fun. Now I'm well practiced with this fucking character. You know, I've been playing the same goddamn tune for who knows how long at this point, and I know how to operate the character. And I get into the thing about burglars is you're either going to win the match, the duel, in the first 5 seconds, or you're going to lose it in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
As a burglar, you have to predict because you don't have a lot of defense, but you have a lot of what they call tricks in this game, is stun maneuvers and ways to incapacitate people and ways to dodge a lot. Like your agility is through the roof as a burglar, so you can evade a lot of attacks, and everything depends on those first 5 seconds. Did not lose a fucking duel in 3 hours of fucking dueling these people that told me that, burglars are the worst fucking class.
Yeah.
So I start out stun, fucking, and we had one that, like, there's an ability they have that, like, resets all of your cooldown timers instantaneously, and it's about you get that, like, every 20 minutes, added to some other shit. I just came up with this little pattern I was using where eventually I could lose a duel had I accepted one, like, in this little 5-minute window, and I just never took a duel in that 5-minute window. Fucking had everybody baffled and pissed, and everybody wound up leaving and getting all pissed off and all this other shit, which I just found it so very satisfying. Like, you will never win a match. I was like, man, when does this get hard for, like, burglars being such a shitty PvP class? Fuck you, man. I was like,
Well, I mean, how was your gear?
Yeah, fantastic. Like, I had...
See, that's the thing is, so many assholes talking shit and attributing to skill what really is just gear, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was never an expert at World of Warcraft, even though I actually had over 9,000 achievements when I stopped, so it tells you how much of my life I wasted playing that stupid game. But I was never really that good in terms of gearing and speccing and shit like that. I was just good at exploring and doing different shit, right? Because I just wanted to see different aspects of the game. But, like, there's some people, it's all about theory crafting and getting better gear. Well, in Wrath of the Lich King, I did, like, a ton of ICC, which is the endgame instance there, right? The endgame raid. And I got some really good rolls on loot. And I got 2 axes, one from the regular, one from the heroic, and then pretty soon, like, all my gear, like, basically every slot was gear from the endgame raid. And like I said, I didn't know that much about it, but my gear, my stuff was so powerful that basically I couldn't lose in a lot of situations. Like, and I get top DPS on a lot of these, pickup group raids, and if I met someone on the road, like, unless they were a protection paladin, I could beat the shit out of them.
Right.
It's at that point I just became infatuated with world PvP, and like on the road, you're sneaking around invisible because you're stealth, and often I could kill a lot of people even at the level cap with just one what they call a killing spree attack, because this is when combat rogues were really overpowered. Then in the next expansion, they just completely made them suck, which really I was heartbroken, right? But you could sneak up behind someone, cheap shot him, which is like a conk on the head that stuns him for a bit, and then you use a killing spree attack, which just hits him 5 times in a row, right? And that was usually enough to just kill him outright, so they never even had a chance.
Right.
And of course, I was tickled pink. I was just going around just kicking the shit out of everybody. And I would go to their. Man, I was such a fucking asshole. I mean, it's. And the thing is, this is where I got the name of the channel. The Lore Master Noja was just the name of my character with his title, right?
Right.
And if anyone from that server recognizes me, they'll be just like spamming our comment section with like "fuck you, I remember you." I mean, I don't think I was remembered very fondly by many people. Shane, who had characters on Alliance and Horde, said that the allies would just openly talk about how much they hated me in the chat. They would just open like, "Yeah, hey, you know that guy? Oh yeah, fuck him." So I had a reputation. It was anyway. So yeah, it just everywhere I went, I would just kick the shit out of people, and I was just having a great time until they released the expansion, and all my gear was obsolete overnight, and they'd changed the classes up, and then I was never that enthusiastic about doing all that fucking work to be decent at PvP again. But I remember I would actually go to the enemy cities, including Stormwind, which is the enemy capital, the human capital, right? And I would swim around in the canals, and I'd look up and see some people who had their PvP flags up because they'd just gotten back, teleported back from a battleground or something, right? And I could see that they were AFK. So I'd climb out of the canal, quickly kill them, jump back in the canal, and then throw off the guards and vanish. And then they'd come back to their character, dead, right there in the middle of Stormwind, and be saying, "What the fuck happened? How could I possibly die?" And it was great. And I would go around just sapping people in the capital, and I drove people crazy with the fucking sapping. Like one time I was in an area, and I did this a lot. I did this a fucking lot. I just fucked with people right before killing them, like playing with my food. And there was one time I found this paladin, an alliance paladin, and I look at him and I see his gear and his spec and so forth. I'm like, oh jeez, there's no way I can kill him, right? Every battle we have is going to end in a draw, or him eventually wearing me out. You know what I mean? He'll just use defensive abilities to keep himself alive until I run out of shit, and then he'll kill me, right? So realistically, he's just his defense is too solid. Unless he's AFK, there's no way I could kill him. Realistically, I don't care how skilled you think you are. There's no way I could kill him. So I thought, well, I'm not just going to let him go. I mean, he's standing there. Who does he think he is, right?
Yeah. How dare you?
Yeah, so I go up to him and I sap him, and then the sap wears off, and he runs around trying to find me. I'm still stealth. He's running around and blasting spells and shit, and finally he's like, okay. And then so he tries to go back about his business, and I run up and sap him again, and I just keep doing this, and eventually he's like, fuck this, and he starts to hearth back. And the thing is, when you have them selected, you can see how their progress is on any kind of casting they're doing, right?
Right. So
he'd start to hearth, and I'd let the bar get to like 95%, and I'm standing right behind him, right? And then I just go pow and hit him again and cancel his cast.
Oh fuck.
So he's trying to teleport home, and then so he gets on his mount, flies away to a distant spot, and starts to hearth again. Well, staying stealth, I hit the sprint ability and go sneak, 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 and then bam, hit him with a fucking.
That's fucking great.
He's just going fucking. You can tell from his body language how he's controlling his character. He is just shitting himself. He's so fucking pissed. And I would do that. Another thing is, like, if I saw like two characters traveling, and there's like a high level one and a low level one, you can tell that this is someone's being leveled, right? Someone on their level 80 is leveling their level 40 friend.
Besides, I have an important task.
So I would sneak up behind him, right, and I'd knock the level 81 unconscious, or stun him. Do like a gesture right in their face, like "Hi," and then I'd turn around and just one-shot their low-level friend and then disappear.
It's fucking great.
And then even if I could kill the level 80, I would let them live, right?
Yeah.
And I would just do that. Oh, I mean, I didn't corpse camp people. I thought that was cheap. But sometimes I'd run into the same person, like coming and going out of an area several times. Another thing, I had engineering. And in engineering, you can make a parachute, right?
Right.
Now, because of the way that killing spree move worked, I found that I could kill people in the air. And then that was just a fucking ball, because people always assume that they're safe in the air, right?
Right.
And then I'd be like running around, sapping people, or what they have is they have this distractibility where it's like they turns your character. It's like a little sound to distract mobs, but you can turn people's characters with them, which is annoying. And I'd be doing that, and they'd be like, oh shit, there's a rogue. I better get out of here. So they'd get on their mount, they'd fly way up, and then I'd fly up after them and use the killing spree and just kill them in the air, and then use the parachute to land safely on the ground. Because you have to dismount to use any ability, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I found even better is that there was a glitch in the killing spree where sometimes I didn't even have to use the parachute. If someone was weak enough, then like when they died, I would just teleport to the ground through a glitch in that move. right? So I didn't even need the parachute, and I could just fly around killing people who thought that they were perfectly safe, and it was just amazing.
Shit, dude.